Good morning and good evening. Welcome to our webinar where today we're going to talk about the Global Master of Finance degree. We will go ahead and get started this morning or this evening and I do appreciate everyone taking some time as we do join from a couple different locations. So just help out as we join through this webinar. So to meet the demand for next generation financial expertise, Washington University's Olin Business School has partnered with 5 leading universities around the world. Today, we are lucky enough to be joined by our spotlight and our partner, Singapore Management University, where you can achieve with one program, 2 degrees. The distinctive Global Master of Finance program format enables you to learn a Master of Science degree from Washington University and a Master of Science in Applied Finance from Singapore Management University in 14 months. So join us as we get started and learn about your future experience in the Global Master of Finance program. Before we get started and go any further, all of your participants have been muted so that we can reduce background noise. Can everyone hear us? If you're having difficulty, please use the raise your hand function or send a message in the chat box. Also, please make sure you can see the screen, as a lot of information will be on the PowerPoint screen. Throughout the presentation, if you have questions, please put them into the Q&A function. At the end of the presentation, we will address those questions and answer as many as we possibly can. So, I'm Jessica Voss. I'm an Associate Director of Graduate Admissions here at Olin Business School. I'm very happy to join you today and talk to you about this Global Master of Finance program. I've been with the university for a little over a year, and over this last year, I've worked very closely with our Master of Science in Finance degrees, including going on the Immersion experience with our global students last spring. Also joining me today, very lucky and very happy to have joining us, Daphne Ng, who is Manager of Admissions with Singapore Management University. And
hi guys.
Professor Fu, who is Associate Professor of Finance, also with Singapore Management University.
Hello everyone. Yeah, it's nice to meet you on this website.
Yes, we have the privilege of being joined by them today to really learn about the experience that our students have in the time at Singapore, about the curriculum, and also about Singapore as well. So as they join us, we will hand off, and kind of a little of an overview of our agenda today is we will talk about the GMF program. We'll talk about the structure. We will talk about the first summer here at Washington University. Then we will talk about your fall and spring semesters that you will spend at Singapore Management University. Then we will talk about coming back to the immersion and the summer that you spend with graduation here at Olin. And then we'll go back to talking about why would you join this program and what are the benefits and the experiences that you can have in Singapore as part of this program. And then we'll talk a little bit about the application process and how you get those applications submitted. What does that look like? What are upcoming deadlines? And then I think most important is you have us to ask any questions that you have, and we're happy to field those questions. So getting started, we'll keep moving on through. So the first thing that we'd like to talk about today is the program overview. What does the program look like? Well, it's a 14-month program requiring 60 total credits. So you will take, you require 60 total credits to graduate from the program. You spend 14 months. You start here at Washington University in this first summer. So the program this year will start around July 5th. And you'll come to the summer after completing any necessary foundation courses online. You will come to campus and you'll take 4 courses, which is a total of 6 credits over the first summer here at Washington University. And then in the fall, you will travel to Singapore and you will take the fall and spring semesters in Singapore. And then you'll return to the States, where you'll join the rest of your cohort who have been studying at other partner schools. And you will travel to New York and Washington, D.C. for an immersion course. And then you will spend the rest of the second summer finishing out your 18 credits here at Olin Business School. And in the end, you receive 2 degrees. You receive the Master of Science in Finance from Olin Business School at Washington University, and you receive a Master of Science in Applied Finance from Singapore Management University. So what does the first summer here in St. Louis look like? Well, talking a little bit about the city and things to do and where you'll live and the people that you'll interact with. So here at St. Louis, you will take courses in our Knight Hall and Simon Hall, which are our business buildings. You will also live in the Loop. So the global students live in the lofts in the Loop. The Loop is located just near campus. It's a vibrant area, lots of restaurants, lots of shopping, very close, easy to get to campus. And then also, you know, St. Louis, we're located right next to Forest Park. We have the zoo. Forest Park is very vibrant and happening in the summer. Lots of concert series, lots of fun activities and fairs, as well as there's always fun baseball games to go to in the summer here in St. Louis. You also do a lot of activities with your global classmates. Another benefit, another great thing about the program in the summer is that our Master of Science in Corporate Finance and Master of Science in Wealth and Asset Management students also start in the summer. So over that summer, you're taking courses and interacting with students from 2 other programs as well. The summer curriculum, I'll just spotlight a little bit about what that looks like. So prior to coming to campus, if you had any foundation course requirements, you would complete those courses online. And then you would come into the classroom and you would take the courses Investment Theory, Advanced Corporate Finance, Options and Futures, and Derivative Securities. And that is what your summer here in terms of coursework would look like at Olin. What I want to do now is turn it over to Professor Fu and really talk about the experience that you have in the curriculum at Singapore.
Hi, everyone, again. So my name is Fan Chian, and starting from this year, you know, I'm the academic director on Singapore side for the GMF program. Yeah, so my job here is, you know, try to get the best teachers, instructors for the courses that you will learn at Singapore. Okay, so when you, just now Jessica said that you're gonna learn 4 courses in the summer at WashU. Yeah, and when you join in September, early September to the Singapore SMU campus, actually you have a break because the first term we offer here, you only need to take 2 courses, right? So that's the quantitative method and statistics, and the other one is economic analysis. Well, the other one on the top of this slide is CFA Ethics and Corporate Governance, which is offered by actually our partner, CFA Institute, okay, which is not a formal course. There is no credit unit. You only need to sit in 4 sessions. I believe every session is like 2 hours, and at the end of the 4 sessions, you will take a quiz, okay, and that's all. So relatively, the first term in Singapore is a bit, you know, take a break type, right? You only need to satisfy 2 courses. Then move on to the second term, which starts in roughly in October, and well, late October, early November, and finishes around, you know, about this time. So like the last week of November. Then, well, in this term 2, you're gonna learn 4 courses, right? As here shows, fixed statement analysis, the first one, fixed income analysis, financial modeling, advanced quantitative, and economic analysis. Okay, so, you know, some of the students actually consider taking CFA exam level 1 in December, which is offered in December. I think this year is 7th. So yeah, because given what the courses you learn at Olin School and the courses you learn here at SMU, you should be able to, you know, sit in this CFA level 1 exam. Okay, so after the New Year's, Christmas and the New Year break, we were entering the spring, even though in Singapore every day is summer, as many of you know, but we still call it spring semester right here. You will still again have 2 terms, term 3 and 4, where you will learn 7 courses in total, as the title suggests here, right? So, and some of the students actually consider taking CFA level 2 exam in June after term 4. Okay, so one good thing about the curriculum is we equip you the necessary knowledge to take the CFA exam. Okay, that's about the curriculum here in Singapore. Okay, Next slide, please. Yeah, so a good program is mainly supported by good faculties. So how good SMU Finance Faculty is? Most of my colleagues hold PhDs from universities like Cornell, Emory, Harvard, Georgia, Iowa, Ohio State, Princeton, Rochester. That's where I come from. Stanford, Tilburg, and of course our partner school, Washington University. Quite a few of my colleagues are actually PhD graduates from Olin School, and also UNSW and UPenn. Okay, so this website actually gives every of my colleagues, and based on SMU is quite a new university. We just founded in 2000, and this is our 16th year. But even though it's a young age, based on the number of publications, the papers published in top 4 finance journals during the past 10, 12 years, we are ranked actually 43rd, which is top 50, which is not easy, right, worldwide. And number 1 in Singapore. We beat the 2 neighboring schools, NUS and NTU, National University of Singapore, Nanyang Technological University. And we are second in Asia. Okay, so these are 4 top academic journals that I mentioned. Okay, yeah. So how about the program? The program based on Financial Times ranking, we are number 4th in Asia and 42nd across the world. Based on masters in finance pre-experience. Pre-experience means you don't have to have working experience. Okay, so we are also very proud to say that we are, CFA Institute program partners, which gives some benefits for students who want to sit in CFA exams. For example, part of your registration fee can be offset by some scholarship. And also, as I mentioned earlier, our curriculum is designed to prepare our students for CFA exams. So actually, if you sit in our program, you are enrolled into our program, you don't have to, think hard how to study, prepare for the CFA exam, as long as you go through with our curriculum and study every course very well.
Very good. Thank you, Professor Fu. As we move on, I would like to talk about the immersion experience. So after you take the time learning and preparing for the CFA exam in Singapore, you will rejoin your cohort from our 5 programs, and you will travel to New York City and Washington, D.C. for our immersion course. Also, I can speak to the CFA prep because most of these students in this picture did take their CFA in June after returning from the immersion course, and they were studying a little bit along that time, but I think it was lessened because of the CFA prep courses. So thank you, Professor Fu. So talking about the immersion, it's a really great experience. It's 2 courses, 3 credits each. So you do a little prep work before you arrive in Washington, D.C. and New York. Rich Rifle, who is in the picture with the American flag, looks like he has a microphone on. Rich Rifle is the professor that typically leads the immersion students, and he takes them to New York and DC. And it's a really great experience in New York. The course is focused on learning about key financial institutions and how they participate in the financial markets. And these types of financial institutions will include corporate finance and investment, hedge funds, private equity, venture capital firms, and also wealth management. And you'll cover markets including stocks and bonds and trading, with emphasis placed on the current trends and future prospects in each institutional area. And so it's a great opportunity. You go to different companies. Companies also come to our students in a conference room. And you really get the opportunity to learn about how the industry works from industry professionals. It's also a great chance to ask questions. I think that's the best part, is you have a relatively small group of students in a room with with top level, high level professionals in the industry. And you really get the chance to ask them the questions that you want to know about how to break into this as a career, or any industry insights or things like that. And it's a really great opportunity. Then you travel also to Washington, D.C. And in Washington, D.C., the immersion is focused on the regulation of the United States financial market. And you examine how these key institutions are involved in regulation, such as the Federal Reserve or the Department of Treasury. All of the courses in DC take place in the Brookings Institute, which we have a partnership with, the Brookings Executive Education Center. And we have speakers that come to us. A couple of my favorite, one of my favorite speakers was Jared Bernstein this year. He was fabulous, a great background into, you know, kind of what happens. We also visited the International Monetary Fund, which was another really great eye-opener as to different areas of finance and how really finance is a global market. Also, we did a little sightseeing, so the students had a lot of fun, got to go, you know, visit some of the sites in Washington, D.C. and New York. It's just really a great experience over a couple of weeks before you come back to St. Louis. Then summer 2, you spend, again, you take, you know, several courses to round out your degree, ultimately ending with graduation here in our building. But one of the favorite classes that I want to just highlight for a few seconds about the summer is the investment praxis course. And in this course, students serve as managers of a portfolio, which is the investment praxis fund. The fund is owned by the school, and students analyze it for investment opportunities in various industries and present recommendations to the class for possible purchases or sales of securities. So it's a great opportunity to have a hands-on activity in terms of managing a fund at that time. And then again, like I said, ending with graduation. It's a great graduation ceremony. Personally, I got to know a lot of these students. Families came here for the summer, and it was a very nice ceremony, very nice chance to get to know everyone's families and see all the happiness as everyone headed off for job opportunities. So now we will get going into why Singapore. So Daphne, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jessica. So hi everyone, I'm here to share with you more a little bit about why study in Singapore, and then I'll also add on to what Prof. Fu has mentioned regarding SMU and life at SMU when you do come in as a student in the Singapore segment. Okay, so just to share with you, with the world economy actually shifting towards Asia, we see that it is a good time to live and study in Singapore, given that we are located in the heart of Southeast Asia. So, and also Singapore is known to be a financial hub with more than 7,000 MNCs setting up their headquarters here, hence making us a very popular location for international candidates to study and look for a job here in Singapore. Next, please. Yeah. Okay, so as some of you may know, if you have been to Singapore before, we are a cosmopolitan country, and here in Singapore, we have the best of the East and West in terms of food and culture, so you wouldn't feel homesick when you are living in Singapore. It is generally a very culturally diverse country with 40% of internationals based here. So of course, Singapore is also a modern and safe country, and you would definitely have a pleasant stay here in Singapore, and you don't have to worry that much about the safety concerns here. Next, please. Okay, so moving on, sharing with you a little bit more about SMU itself. Okay, some of you may also know that SMU, Singapore Management University, is one of the top 3 local universities in Singapore. And given that we are the youngest out of these 3, we wanted to be different from the other 2 local universities. And how we did that is that we are firstly modeled after Wharton, UPenn, and you may know that it is the top business school in the world. So given that our pedagogy and curriculum are very similar to that of a Western classroom. And we are the only local university in Singapore to have the entire campus based in the heart of heart of the city for strategic reasons. This is so that we can foster close links with the business community and invite industry leaders down to speak with our students. As such, we hold close to 100 events every 3 months on campus, where our students are often invited to attend. Also, SMU is very recognized across Asia, and several of our master's programs have received top rankings in the Financial Times, such as what Prof. Wu has mentioned earlier, like our Master of Science in Applied Finance, which we are very proud of given that we are a young university, only 16 years old. And in fact, our Master of Science in Wealth Management program was ranked first in Asia, and our Executive MBA was the top new entrant for Financial Times rankings last year, and this year we are 9th amongst Asian business schools. Okay, moving on. Okay, so being modeled after a top American school in terms of our style of teaching, I would like to highlight that we are not the typical Asian university. So you would experience a different kind of classroom experience if, let's say, you were brought up in an Asian country and you had the typical style of Asian classroom, Asia classroom style of teaching. So classes are conducted in seminar rooms and there are no lecture halls, so you do not have to worry that you will only come to class listening to your professor lecturing and copying down notes for the entire session. In fact, you will be in a small classroom size, and as our seminar rooms can only hold up to 50 to 70 students in maximum. So we also emphasize on class participation, group projects, and presentations because we want to develop our students holistically, and soft skills such as leadership and communication skills are featured strongly in our classes, solely because we want to develop our students holistically and also be great and effective communicators and leaders once they graduate from our program. Okay, so this is actually a picture of our seminar room, and you can see that our classroom is structured in a U-shape form with the professor standing right in the middle. So all our classes are like this. So no matter where you are sitting, your prof and your classmates would be able to see you even if you fall asleep. So you can also see the name cards placed in front of every student. So it is very easy for your professor and your classmates to identify you as well. There are only a maximum of 4 rows in the entire class. Based in the picture, you can see that too. And this is to foster an interactive and dynamic classroom environment. Okay, so lastly, who would you be networking with at SMU? We have a strong and engaging alumni office who will be holding many events such as industry nights for our students to interact with people not just within your same class or same cohort, but within the entire postgraduate community. There would of course be current students and alumni networking events, and we are also very proud to say that we have started this new initiative since last year, the Alumni Mentoring Program, where you get to choose to be mentored by one of our alumni from any of our postgraduate programs, and our alumni actually volunteered their time for this. So it does shows that the strong support you would get and receive as an SMU student or alumni. Okay. And like what I mentioned in one of my earlier slides, because of our strong links with the business community, we have CEOs, managing directors from different industries, ambassadors of various countries who would be invited down to provide talks with our students. And this is something beyond the classroom, which all our students are always encouraged to attend, because I mean, how often will you get to speak with a CEO and interact with them in a small group setting? Yeah, and on average, you will receive 2 to 3 email invites per week, and you can choose to attend these small group session talks if they are of interest to you and if your time permits. So all this actually adds up to the 100 events every 3 months that is going on in our SMU campus. Yeah.
So thank you, Daphne. That was a great insight into the experience that our students will have here, both at Washington University and then in Singapore. And so obviously we want to talk a little bit about the results that count. What are the outcomes of this degree? What do careers look like? We know that this is a popular question that is faced. So our graduates have received positions in organizations such as ARA Asset Management, Bank of China, Blackstone, China Construction Bank, HSBC Private Bank, Shanghai Pudong Investment Bank, and Standard Chartered Bank. And the positions fall in line, just like with the other MSF degrees, positions in equity research, financial analyst, investment analyst, and risk analyst. Professor Fu and Daphne, do you have anything to join to add on the career side?
Professor Fu, do you have anything?
Question from one of the participants. So I think currently, you know, the Singapore government has this local people employment priority policy. So yeah, I want to, you know, the student to be aware the chance to find a job is not very high in Singapore, but does not mean that there is no job opportunity here. So we have quite a few alumni still find a job in Singapore, but you know, the situation is not as good as it used to, like 10 years ago. Yeah, so that's something I want to caution the students, because some students might have the expectation to work here, which is understandable. And actually, the question is, the student asked, you know, if there is an internship opportunity. Well, for that question, actually, I think, you know, your time schedule, the intensive course learning requirement may prevent you to, you know, work at the same time.
So we did have I will say that we have heard from some successful students who have pursued internships. But again, I agree with Professor Fu. It's just about managing out your time and making sure obviously that the degree and the school comes first. But if you have that extra time, we have had some students have successful opportunities, and we have had some students, like you said, you know, it's not impossible, but it is more difficult to find the opportunities. Where we typically see students finding opportunities is in the Asian market, whether it be in their home country or in Hong Kong or Singapore, and you know, depending on your country, you know, where you come from, you know, it may be Europe or it may be other opportunities, just depending on where you're from. But it's typically your home country or in the Asian market. So
yeah,
oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, I mean, just to add on, usually we would advise our candidates that, you know, don't limit yourself to just one option or just one geographical spot. So if you are open to different kind of positions and in different parts of Asia, most likely you might be able to find something that you want, as compared to, you know, just limiting yourself to one industry or one job function in maybe Singapore or in one country.
Right. And we've also had students go on to PhD programs as well.
So. Oh, exactly. Yeah. So, Jessica reminded me, actually, I want to mention two candidates, two students. They after graduate from GMF program. One become a PhD student at the University of Melbourne, and one become a PhD student in SMU. So she currently is our second year student.
Yes. So now that we've learned a little bit about the program, you know, obviously questions at hand, and I know I have one question in the Q&A box, and I think I'll address it in this next part. So let's talk about the application process. How do you apply to this program? To apply to the program here at Olin, we try to make the application as streamlined as possible. The application is comprised of a one-page resume, 2 required essays, academic transcripts, the GMAT or GRE test score, and then for international applicants, we do require an English language skills assessment test, as well as a video. And then there also is an application fee of $100. Our application process does not require letters of recommendation, so there is no need to submit those. When you're submitting your application, you can upload unofficial test scores and unofficial transcripts to your application. Should you be admitted to the program and enroll in the program, at that time you would be submitting your official test scores and official transcripts. So for the essay prompts, the first essay is just a personal statement. We'd like to know, what is your goal after graduation? You know, where do you see yourself? What is the goal that this program will accomplish for you? The second essay, we ask you to introduce yourself to your future classmates. So we'd like to tell you a little bit about you. I know my favorite part of the application is really reading the essay. I like to get to know you. I like to understand maybe some of your highlights of your successes, where you've come from, just your story of how you've gotten to where you are now. I know in your question you asked, we had a student that asked, do you need to talk about personal life or typical issues? I think it's really up to you. I think it's really up to you in terms of how you craft the best story of yourself. So if that includes a little bit about your personal life and how you reach certain achievements or goals, that's great. It's really just taking the opportunity to introduce yourself as you would introduce yourself to your future classmates. Here at Olin, we really have a collaborative and intimate environment. Our class sizes are small. We really want our students to be able to get to know each other, and also for our staff and our faculty to get to know you. So just take some time to really craft that story of who you are. After the application, you know, they are reviewed. You do also do a short Kira assessment video. It's 3 questions. They take about 1.5 minutes each to respond, and it's just an English language skills assessment video. It's very, very easy to complete that video. It's not hard, a hard process. You receive a link in your email and you just follow the steps to do so. After that, after the applications are reviewed, an interview is also part of the process. So you would receive an interview invitation if selected. And then at that time, your application is also reviewed after interview by our partners at Singapore. So you are ultimately reviewed to be admitted into both programs. Talking about our application deadlines, our first deadline has already passed. Our second deadline is coming up really soon. December 1st will be our round 2 deadline. December 1st, applicants are notified of admission on January 31st. And then February 1st is our international student deadline. So if you are planning on applying and you are an international student, you will need to apply at the February 1st deadline. A notification for that round is in March. And then our last deadline is in April, on April 3rd of 2017. Like I mentioned, the program will begin. The tentative start date right now is July 5th. That's usually formed up after Christmas. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to any additional questions. I think I've addressed one that's in the question box, but if there are any additional questions, we are happy to answer those. So with the CEL practicum, that's a really good question of, do you have the chance to participate in the CEL practicum at Olin? And as a part of this program, you do not have the opportunity for the CEL practicum because of the time that you're here. There aren't projects in the summer, and you're here in the fall, or in the 2 summers. The great hands-on applied chance that you have to work is with the investment praxis course, which really gives you a hands-on opportunity in terms of managing that fund. Daphne or Professor Fu, can you talk about any applied learning skills that opportunities that they may have while in Singapore?
Daphne, are you aware?
We do actually have a professional development series for our postgraduate students.
Oh, yes.
I'm not particularly sure whether this is also part of the GMF program, and if yes, we do have a series of workshops like leadership, negotiation skills, effective communication, and so on for our postgrad students also. And like what I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of events going on at SMU that you are always welcome to participate in, as long as you have the time for to attend any of these events held on campus. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, as I know, actually we have 2 weeks, usually in between the consecutive terms. That week is reserved for some, graduate program activities. Yeah, so I think in the past activity week, they play the ping pong, they sing karaoke, They also play badminton, some kind of bowling games, right? To, also not just the GMF students, you had a chance to mingle with the graduate students from other programs, like our full-time, part-time MF program, and also the MBA programs, even including PhD programs. So that's the great chance for students, to make friends and to add a spice in your life.
Very good. So one common question that I get, and I would like to ask the two of you, is what is your favorite part about Singapore Management University or your life in Singapore?
Okay, so I think Daphne is a local Singaporean, right?
Yes, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, and honestly speaking, because my undergrad studies wasn't in SMU, it was in one of the other local universities. So I can say that the culture and the way classes are taught are really different, and they are, as what I mentioned in my earlier slides, regarding how interactive and dynamic the classroom sessions are, and even the support from the alumni career services office. I do see a very strong support from them, maybe because we are more of a specialized university focusing on business and management. Our cohorts are smaller as well, so there is more one-to-one interaction time, and also more, I would say, more one-to-one interaction time, and also quality time with not just career services but also the alumni, and basically even your professors as well. It's always an open door policy, I believe. Prof, we can add on that. At SMU. So I really do like the culture here, especially if you want something different from a typical Asian university. SMU would be the way to go. Usually we tell students, especially those who would like to experience something from a westernized style of teaching, but they do not want to travel so far, they can experience it in SMU as well. So I would say that it's rather similar to what is taught at Olin Business School in terms of the style of teaching. Yeah, so there wouldn't be a great discrepancy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so so I think many participants who signed all our webinars are from actually China. I'm originally from China, and I joined SMU 10 years ago, so this is my 10th year. The part I like SMU is the location. Okay, so we are very happy. The school is located in the center of the CBD area, I have to say, right? So this is like Lower Manhattan in New York City. Well, let's just give an example. We are just 2 blocks away from the Parliament. We're just 1 block away from the Supreme Court. We are just 1 MRT station away, a subway away from the financial center, the Raffles Place. And we are surrounded by, kind of spoiled by all the, fancy restaurants, nice dining places. So it's kind of, always a bigger issue of a selection. Our colleagues go together to find a place for lunch because we had too many choices to choose from. So that's a part. And I think that definitely was right. So we are I would say the university, Asian university that is closest to the American school. We started with the Wharton curriculum, and we are the first university in Singapore who adopted the U.S. education system. In the past, the 2 other universities are more closer to the UK education system. So all the professors' evaluation, the rank, also the classroom interaction, teaching style are very US, right? So emphasize a lot of interactions between faculty and students. Something that definitely emphasized a lot early on.
Good. Thank you. So we do have another question is asking, how large is the GMF program and how many students are usually enrolled in this program with Olin and SMU? So this year we have 31 students.
This year 13, right?
31, yeah, we have 31 students in the
31.
program with Singapore and Olin. We have a few more with our other partner schools for the GMF cohort as a whole, but there are 31 with SMU. Those students this year come from backgrounds from, we have China, we have India, we have the United States, so different students from differing backgrounds. A lot of different undergraduate schools have been attended, many schools in China, the George Washington University, University of Virginia, Vanderbilt University. We have a student that came from Singapore Management University and came back for this program, National University of Singapore. So definitely a wide range of backgrounds in terms of the students that are studying in the program. Let me just get you, yeah. So definitely a wide range of backgrounds. I hope that answers your question. Well, if there are no other questions at this time, we are going to wrap our presentation. I again want to thank our panelists and our friends from Singapore Management University and Daphne and Professor Fu. I think this was a great opportunity to learn more about the experience that you have at Singapore Management University. And I want to thank you for joining us. And I also want to thank our viewers for joining us and learning more about the program. And as a reminder, our email address is on the screen. If you have any additional questions that we have not answered, or you think of questions as you're doing your research, please reach out. We are happy to answer those questions and talk to you about the program.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
Jessica.
everyone.
Yeah,
and
thank you,
Jessica,
for all the
so
participants.
Yes.
Thank you
so we
much.
are very happy to receive your applications, and we are very happy to see you at Olin and later in Singapore.
Yes,
next year.
Thank you. Everyone have a wonderful evening and a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.